Micah Frankel, CageMinds.com. Joining us right now, he's going to be taking on Efrain Escudero at UFC 188. Thank you for the time, Drew Dober. How you feeling?
Great. Just finishing up the Florida week, finishing up the camp, and super excited for Mexico City.
When do you head out to Mexico City?
I think we depart early Tuesday morning, I think on the 8th.
So what's it been like for you being in the UFC, doing all this world traveling in there, stamping your passport quite a bit?
It's a dream come true, you know. I dreamt of this for a very long time, so as a young boy, being able to compete in martial arts all over the world. And so now I'm fighting for the number one position in the world, and they're taking advantage of me and sending me to different countries, and I absolutely just love it.
So, Mexico, Brazil, and Germany, that's correct, right?
Yes.
So how enjoyable has all this been, and what were the best parts of it?
Well, Germany was fantastic. I made a bunch of friends and met my wife out there. And, just traveling and seeing culture, seeing the world, you see this kind of the audience and all this stuff on TV, on pay-per-view, and I get to experience it firsthand. It's been beautiful. It's been a journey. The worst part is I don't get to, indulge in the culinary aspects until after the fight.
So have you added a couple extra days on the end of the trip just to stay to take in all that good cuisine?
I haven't taken advantage of it yet. I usually get sent back out so I can see my friends and family back in the United States. But I definitely I want to be able to do that in the future.
So I'm sure you've been asked it before, but how do you end up getting in a fight with a guy and then marrying his sister? And this is all within the last year?
Yep. When you know, you know. When I first laid eyes on her, I just had this tremendous feeling. We were at the post-fight party, and we just kept in contact, talking every single day for 2 months, and then we decided to make our first date in New York City, and it just went extremely well. The way you picture, meeting your soulmate would be like, it's generally what happened, and so we decided to take the leap. We eventually just visited each other more and more frequently, and when you know, you know.
Storybook, that's awesome. Well, another big storybook thing for you was hitting Jamie Varner in the first round. How big of a win was that for you at UFC on Fox 13?
Oh, it was fantastic. I think it really let people know who I am and what I'm capable of. It was a tremendous win, but I didn't celebrate it too much. I know it's always on to the next. I knew I was planning on winning. I was training to win, and I feel like I'm one of the best fighters in the world. So I got to keep proving it.
Gotta bring it up. You're gonna be tagged in history for having been part of one of the worst stoppages ever. What's the outpouring from fans been like in support of you after that happened?
I don't think I've heard a negative thing about, the fans. Everyone's been extremely supportive, since, immediately, as soon as I got to the cage, the Brazilian fans, the other fighters, the UFC and everything was just blowing up about, everyone was just supporting me and how much it was just a complete, BS.
So, have you thought of, would you like a rematch for that fight? Just because, for you guys, we never got to see how it would turn out. For history, we never got to see how it would turn out.
I'm not really fighting for that rematch. I think I'm just going to move on to bigger and better things. We'll see how his next fight goes. But, I just want to fight superior opponents.
So it's been a fun experience, all this world traveling. Have you gotten any feeling of that villain going in there and taking on Hein in Germany, Silva in Brazil, and now Escudero in Mexico? Have you felt any of that villainness?
It's really hard to play the bad guy when I try my hardest to be, the nice guy. However, I thrive in, being the underdog. and being able to change the heart of the fans. So my entire goal is to give the audience exactly what they pay to see, and for the people that are booing me as I enter, I just want them cheering me when I leave.
From you said it's been a childhood dream. When did you first get into martial arts?
I first started martial arts when I was 13, and I just jumped in the deep end. Immediately started off with Muay Thai. A couple months later, started learning Jiu-Jitsu, and then in high school I joined the wrestling team, and so I was practicing mixed martial arts in high school.
So how many times have you sat down for interviews and people first off ask you about your wrestling because they just look at Nebraska and you kind of just would lead on from there?
Everyone asks that, and plus, I got the camouflage of a wrestler too. I got the ears and the short, stocky builds. But I always tell all my close friends I'm a backwards Nebraskan. I started off striking first and learned wrestling last.
So how much have you picked that up and been focusing on the wrestling? We know in the Hein fight he took you down a couple times.
That was probably one of the biggest decisions of moving out here to Denver, Colorado. We had some, fantastic athletes and fantastic wrestlers out here. And, I just finished my last wrestling practice today, and like always, I'm just struggling to keep up with these guys. So I have extreme confidence that I'm prepared and ready to go for next city because I train with these monster wrestlers.
Moving out to Colorado, this is going to be your first camp then with that team?
No, I think my first step was with the Germany bout. And I think, if you watch my last, 4 fights, you can see improvements since moving out here.
From that, how did the Nebraskan move to Colorado? How did you get connected, and how did that work out?
Like always, I thrive on fighting the local guys, and so local promotions flew me out to Denver to fight the local guys. One spectacular fight in particular against a man named Tony Sims. We had fought him here in Colorado, and we kept in contact after the fight. He invited me out here for a training vacation, and I fell in love. The talent and the camaraderie of this fight team was something I'd never seen before, so decided to pack my bags and head out to the mountains.
And you're with Evolution Fight Team, right? Or Elevation?
Team Elevation.
Elevation. And then that's several different gyms, right?
Yeah, it's a group of guys, and together we bounce to different locations. Easton's Training Center, multiple headquarters, but we generally all stick together.
That's really cool. That's a real team atmosphere being together all day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have each other's back, and whatever we need for each other, we present ourselves. We take time and the sweat and the effort to make each one better. And I think, Neil Magny is probably the biggest proof of the camaraderie out here. He's got a 7-fight win streak, and it's because he's always has training partners and coaches available to him.
Coming up for this fight now, putting all that together, what do you see the biggest obstacle that Efrain's going to present to you?
He's fighting in Mexico City. There's a bunch of fans behind him, so I think he doesn't want to quit. He's not going to give up. He's going to ride the national pride train. So I just know he's going to be gritty, he's going to be tough, and he's going to stick against me for 15 rounds. But I think I'm going to be more superior, and I'm hoping to finish the fight sometime within that 15.
What's something you got to get done, you think, in the fight to get that victory?
I don't trust the judges, and so I'm going to do whatever I can to finish the fight. So, turning on the afterburners, taking advantage of the mistakes that he makes, really pushing the pace and hopefully breaking him.
Right now is a big, crazy time in the UFC, and I wanted to get your opinion on the hot button topics. So we'll start out with today's news. There's a whole lot more drug testing and a whole lot more penalties if you're caught. What are your thoughts and feelings on today's news?
I think it's good for the sport or the promotion as a whole. We can start, catching the people that may be cheating. Me as an individual, I don't think twice on it. I know I'm not multivitamins is the worst thing I take, and so they're not going to catch me at anything. unless those Flintstone tablets are illegal. But so I think it's great, for the promotion. But I just don't think too much about it.
Flintstone vitamins. Wow. And then Jose Aldo earlier this week, he was quoted on talking about it's time for the fighters to have a union. Do you have any thoughts on that issue?
I think that sounds great. It's a great plan. I know there's a bunch of great fighters out there that say the same thing. I think a fighters union would be extremely beneficial for both sides. We can grow and you can make the sport better. It's just a matter of whether it happens or not. It's the question.
I believe just recently, within the last week, I know I specifically heard Aldo and Ryan Jimmo. So does it feel like that the train of it is gaining the momentum, and it looks like that's the direction it's heading?
Yeah, there's a whole lot of changes within this year in this sport, and so it's just kind of like what do these changes promote? There's going to maybe be unity between the fighters to promote other aspects, but as a sport, this sport's fairly new, and so we still have to grow in the ways that other sports have already grown. Boxing commission or boxers already have a union. The NFL they've already gone through this. And now it's our turn.
And then Reebok. We know that's coming up. Any thoughts on it?
It's interesting. I know a bunch of fighters might take a pay cut. I know some fighters are going to make more money, with less effort. Me, it doesn't affect me too much, other than the fact that, I don't have to, start searching for as many sponsors. I look forward to seeing the uniforms and being able to promote my name on these uniforms. So, I take one day at a time. I actually look forward to seeing how it ends up.
So with something like this coming forth, is that putting a mindset for you to start creating a brand of yourself?
Oh yeah, I knew of this aspect when I first started fighting. Your name is the brand, and you got to promote your name, and then so that's why I give 110%. I wear my heart on my sleeve in the fights. It's not about what I'm capable of. It's not what I say. It's what I accomplish inside the cage. And so, I'm already trying to brand my name, and I think the uniform will help out with that.
I gotta thank you for time. Best of luck next week at UFC 188. The last thing is, tell the fans how to follow you on social media, and shout out to sponsors, supporters, whoever you need to.
I was going to give a huge shout out to Team Elevation, adopting me and really dedicating a lot of time and making me a better fighter. And if any of you guys want to follow me, it's at Drew Dober. You can go to Facebook or Instagram.
UFC 188 next weekend. Drew Dober is on the FX prelims, and the main card is on pay-per-view. Thank you for the time, Drew.
Thanks so much, buddy.